Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing very well today. As you can see, I've got the brand new practice amp from Positive Grid. This is the Spark Mini. Yes, welcome back to the channel, you guys. Hope you're all doing very well today. As you can see, I've got the brand new, just released, ultra compact Spark Mini. Now, I think lots of you guys are familiar with the original Spark. That's the white one right there. I've done lots of videos, comparisons on that, so feel free to check that one out. But instead of going bigger, the guys from Positive Grid have gone more compact. So this is, as I mentioned, the Spark Mini. It's a 10-watt ultra compact practice amp, but it can't possibly sound good, right? I mean, look at the size of it, right? All right, so here's some highlights of the Spark Mini before we plug it in and see what it sounds like. Now, of course, I'll link to it in the video description below. You can get all the detailed specs down here, but here's a few highlights. Now, the first thing to note is it's a fully fledged member of the Spark family, which means it gets all the awesome software from the original Spark. So all the lesson tools, all the jam along tracks, you know, the ability to listen to a song and show you the chords so you can play along with it. The tone cloud, access to thousands of tones, integrates with your app, your tablet. I've shown you guys all that stuff for the original Spark, so you can check out those videos, but all that holds true of the Spark Mini, which means if you just want some quick and dirty like Hendrix tracks, well, you can search Hendrix and download one, or David Gilmour, or modern metal, or whatever you want and whatever you're into, you can instantly get those styles on your amp and save it to the Spark Mini. So full access to Positive Grid's ecosystem, that is huge. As I mentioned, you get access to all the learning tools, but also you can download Marshall patches, you know, Orange, Boogie, Vox, Fender, plus a ton more. You have access to all the amps and effects, which is fantastic. Now, the other thing I'm so glad they kept on the Spark Mini is the ability to use it as an audio interface. That's almost worth the price of admission alone. You know, when you look at the price of an audio interface, especially if you just want to record some guitars, I think on the website, I think you can also get free software with this as well, so you can get recording your guitar right away. And in past videos, I've used the audio output for the original Spark, and you know, no microphones, no cables, well, other than a USB, but you know, no complex setups. You just plug it into your computer and off you go. It's fantastic. So love that they kept that. There's also a line out, so you can record that way. Headphones, aux in if you want to put a different thing in there, a different source. Also Bluetooth capable, so it's a Bluetooth speaker. All the good stuff from the other one is available here, but so glad they kept that recording aspect. So let's take a look at the top panel and then we'll plug it in. Now, as you guys can see, the front face of the Spark Mini is very simplified. You've got your input for plugging in your guitar, bass, acoustic guitar. Just like the original, it can handle everything, including bass, which is pretty crazy. You're not gonna, you know, blow it up if you plug a bass into there, which is good to know. Music knob will control like the backing track if you're jamming along, or if you want to use it as a Bluetooth speaker. And of course, the guitar knob controls your instrument. And then you've got 4 presets. And of course, they're labeled there, you know, rhythm, lead, solo, custom, but you can put whatever sound you want on there. So if you wanted like 4 clean tones or, you know, 4 blues tones, feel free to do that. They're just labeled that way, you know, from the factory. So it's fully programmable, which is awesome. And the LEDs also work as a tuner. So if you press and hold the button here, you actually go into a tuner mode, and very clever. So you can also tune with it as well. So love to see that. What's missing? Well, the EQ. So if you rely on a lot of EQ, you're going to want to use the app, you know, with the tablet or with your phone, so you get full access to the EQ. So that's obviously missing on a small, you know, footprint like this. But I have noticed that lots of the patches with Positive Grid stuff seems to be like pre-EQ'd to sound good in a mix. Now, of course, one of the biggest changes to the Spark Mini over the original is the built-in battery. So you just charge it up via USB and you get 8 hours worth of playtime. So it is truly portable. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm just going to use the battery power. We're going to be using the old Fender HH Telecaster carved top beautiful guitar and pretty affordable as well. Yeah, so we'll plug it into here. Now I've used mics on the Mini. I've used the Mini as an audio interface, but I've never used the direct out. So I'm going to try this direct out and see what it sounds like into the audio interface. I'm just going to use the stock sounds that comes on the Mini. So it gives you a clean tone, a crunch tone, a solo tone, and a high gain kind of metal tone just from the factory. So I'm going to plug it in, test those tones out, because I think it is pretty representative of the types of tones you can get on the Spark. Any type of clean tone, any type of gain stage. That's the beauty of the ecosystem. So anyway, here we go. Let's start with the clean tone and yeah, see what this baby sounds like. Next up, let's try out the crunch tone. I'll give you guys some in isolation, and then let's do a quick 30-second jam over a backing track so you can see what it sounds like in a mix. Next up, let's try the built-in solo patch and see what that sounds like. And finally, let's go to our high gain setting. I'll put the guitar in drop D and bridge pickup. Here we go. So here are my final thoughts on the Positive Grid Spark Mini. Now, I just wanted to show you guys kind of the difference in size between the original Spark and the Mini, and clearly the Mini is tiny. Ultimate portability for sure. Now with the original Spark, it was 40 watts, and I felt, when I reviewed it, that it could be, definitely a good practice amp, even a good rehearsal amp, and possibly a gigging amp, depending on what style you play. If it's a small, quiet, three-piece, you can make that work. It was quite loud. Now, when we talk about the Spark Mini, well, it's basically a solo practice amp. Does it sound good? Yes, because it has access to all the tones. But, you're not going to get a lot of clean headroom on this amp at 10 watts, but as a personal practice tool, well, it sounds great. So if you guys need a small amp that has access to a bunch of different amp models, a ton of effects, and of course all those learning tools, well, there's nothing else like it on the market. Now for myself, I think I would just leave this on my desktop. You can quickly plug into it and work out some, quick and dirty guitar parts or just have some fun practicing. You can literally store it anywhere. It is that tiny. So really cool. You know, most companies will, you know, start small and maybe make bigger and bigger and bigger. Positive Grid has thought totally different on this one. Yeah, and like I said, you can plug a bass guitar into here too. There's a big port on the bottom. There's two little mini stereo speakers on here and stuff, so it can actually, you know, project some verb and, you know, chorus or any sort of modulation stuff pretty decently as well. So there you guys go. Love the flexibility of the back. 3 different ways to record with this. You can record it with a mic. You can plug it as an audio interface. You can use the direct out. So flexible for something so small. So there you guys go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As I mentioned, I will link to it in the video description below. You can check out all the effects, all the specs, all that kind of stuff down there. Other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care.